Humm, baby.
Enjoy this great game.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. This is Eric, and today we're talking Cincinnati Reds. I was super high on the Reds and still am as we get ready to kick off 2020. Hopefully, there's still some talk out there that, hey, this ain't going to happen. They're having some problems with testing and all that. You know what? Until it's officially canceled, I'm on board. I got to talk baseball, so I'm taking this opportunity to continue with team previews and continue talking baseball. And the Cincinnati Reds, a team I was super high on and am super high on, have set their rotation. And Sonny Gray, a little surprising. I thought it'd be Luis Castillo, but it's Sonny Gray. He is going to be the opening day starter as they have set the rotation. The Reds are taking on the Tigers on opening day, which is a reminder that the Reds have a fairly, I don't want to say easy, but they don't have the toughest schedule in baseball. They are going to be playing a lot of Tigers, a lot of Royals, teams that are not the greatest, and that's going to be beneficial to the Reds. Now, it doesn't really matter once the postseason starts, but I do think that the Reds will definitely be in the postseason, and I think they're really good. And I actually got them winning the division, believe it or not, over the Brewers, over the Cubs, a lot of great teams in the Central, and I got the Reds winning that division. So we'll have to see how it goes. But the thing I'm most excited about this team is that freaking rotation. If you go down in the article a little bit, the Reds will follow Gray with Luis Castillo, Trevor Bauer, Wade Miley, and Anthony DeSclafani, and even Tyler Mahle is there to be used as a long reliever and can pitch if he needs to start occasionally. So great looking rotation. And if we jump over to the stats, we'll just start at the top with Sonny Gray just so you know how good this rotation is. If you don't know, we're talking about an all-star, 2019 All-Star. Yeah, he was also an All-Star in 15, but he was an All-Star in 19. And he had a 2.87 ERA in 31 starts. That is excellent over 31 starts. In 175 innings, he gives up only 122 hits. That is really good. That is a lot less than the number of innings pitched. It's not really close. And he also struck out a lot more than the innings pitched with 205 strikeouts. So he's a strikeout machine. That is 10.5 strikeouts per 9. So Sonny Gray, coming off of a fabulous season, is going to be the number one guy. And then you have Castillo, who started 32 games in 190 innings. Guess how many hits he gives up? 139. 226 strikeouts, and also made the All-Star team. I mean, this is a stud right here. Could be easily be the ace and the opening day starter. They decide to go with someone else, but guess what? Castillo is absolutely sick as well, and what a 1-2 punch that is. 15-8 record last year. Look for Castillo to dominate again, and then after that is the Twitter extraordinaire himself, and it is Trevor Bauer with his grand total of 253 strikeouts in 2019, and that's in only 213 innings. Gives up only 184 hits. I mean, these guys are just dealing. I mean, that's 1 through 3 right there. His record didn't turn out the greatest because after he came to Cincinnati, he did struggle a little bit in giving up runs, but you got to look at the whole picture. The guy was absolutely amazing throughout the year. If he wasn't separated, into two teams in 2019 with part of the year in Cleveland, part of the year with Cincinnati, nobody would notice that 6.39 ERA he had in a few starts in 10 starts with the Reds. They'd just see his overall stats, and his overall stats are very impressive. So I don't think you could judge him on the small sample size he had in Cincinnati. He got off to a tough start over there with the Reds, but overall, the guy was awesome. And if you want to go back to 2018 with Cleveland, that's when he had a 2.21 ERA. So the guy can definitely give you a good ERA. He's going to strike out a ton of guys. And yeah, some people love Trevor Bauer. Some people kind of hate Trevor Bauer because he's so outspoken. He's out there on social media. I mean, that's just how he is. But you know what? He can pitch. And he's not even your number 1 or 2 guy. He's your number 3 guy with those numbers. I mean, that is an amazing 1-2-3 combo right there. I don't know how other teams are going to deal with that. Because, I mean, that's amazing. And then you finally get through that, and it's not like it just stops there. It's not like they don't have a number 4 or 5 guy. Then you got the lefty Wade Miley coming off a 14-6 record last year. Yeah, that was with the Astros, so he obviously got some nice offensive production, but he still puts up a great record. ERA under 4 in 33 starts, and in 167 innings pitched, he only gives up 164 hits, so less than innings pitched, 140 strikeouts. I mean, obviously he's not going to be as dominant as your first 3 guys, but, I mean, for a number 4 guy, you got a former All-Star, a guy who was second for the Rookie of the Year in 2012. A guy who's coming off a 14-6 record, and that's your number 4 guy. And you finish off with another righty in Anthony DeSclafani, coming off a year with a 3.89 ERA, not bad at all. Only gives up 151 hits in 166 innings. Strikes out more than innings pitched with 167 Ks. So you got 4 of your 5 guys in the rotation have more strikeouts than innings pitched last year. I mean, you talk about a strikeout rotation. That is something that teams are going to have to deal with, and it's not going to be easy. And if that rotation can stay healthy, wow is all I can say. Teams are going to have to look out. And after that, yeah, you have Tyler Mahle. He's going to be a long reliever, can start some games. Unfortunately, he does not have the most impressive stats last season with a 3-12 record, 5.14 ERA. Did strike out 129 in 129. He's only 25. So, he's a guy who has shown some really dominant stuff in the minor leagues, just needs to figure it out at the big league level. But he's not even in the rotation. So it's not like Mahle's going to start a whole bunch of games. I assume he'll start some just based on injury and circumstance. Remember, it's just a 60-game season, meaning there is a really good chance that the Reds can get through this season unscathed, or only a few injuries here and there. But maybe they can get through more or less with that rotation intact. And if so, I see them winning a bunch of games. Just look at that rotation. I mean, how can you see the Reds even going 500? I don't see it happening. And of course, I haven't even talked about their lineup, but if the Reds made a lot of moves. They picked up Nick Castellanos, who's already, tearing it up in spring training 2.0 based on some reports I'm hearing. Then you got, of course, they picked up Mike Moustakas. I mean, they already picked up a bunch of guys in the offseason, and not to mention a guy that made the 60-man whom we might see make his major league debut in 2020. I think there's a really good chance we will see it, and that's this beast, Jose Garcia, inching closer to major league debut in 2020. This guy is a huge prospect. Jose Garcia, not on the radar of many fans throughout Reds country before this past March. However, the wait is unbearable as many anticipate the big league debut of the Cincinnati Reds top prospect. He might not be on the opening day roster, but he is on the 60-man. He's part of the 60-man pool, which means they can bring him up at any time. He is working out with the Reds. There's a tweet from yesterday. Looks like Jose Garcia working out with the Reds at Great American Ballpark. Oh, yeah, he is. This guy who really impressed in spring training. I was really looking forward to how he would do in AA, maybe some AAA this year. But at this point, we might get to see him make his major league debut. That's going to be really exciting. But here's a look at the 60-man. You just look through these names and you see a bunch of really good players. Obviously, Moustakas, I mentioned. Eugenio Suarez, an absolute beast. He's going to hit you. Well, he's not going to hit. I don't know how many home runs he's going to hit this year in a 60-game season, but he might hit 20. I mean, that's how good he is in just 60 games. The guy can absolutely crush the ball. Joey Votto, of course. I mean, we know all about Joey Votto. He's getting a little older, but the guy can still hit. Shogo Akiyama, a pickup from Japan that I'm really excited about. Nick Castellanos, of course. Nick Senzel, big-time young player who, Reds are hoping and can come into his own really quick. But even if he doesn't, I mean, they have so many options. Obviously, Jesse Winker, another guy who they're hoping can show up this year. Phillip Ervin, a nice versatile outfielder. A lot of guys here, and they also picked up Pedro Strop, former Cub, to really shore up that bullpen. Robert Stevenson, another great reliever. Sal Romano can start a little bit here and there. Wade Miley, of course, in the rotation. Just looking through. Michael Lorenzen, a two-way player. That guy can hit, play the outfield if needed. Of course, we got the DH this year. That's going to be an interesting to see how they play that. I'm sure Michael Lorenzen is not too pleased with that, but he's still going to get an opportunity to swing the bat for sure. And Raisel Iglesias closing out the games. Kind of had a rough year last year. I see him having a bounce back season though, because the guy's absolutely filthy. And just names. Amir Garrett. Just so many freaking quality names when you look at this freaking roster right here. And here are some of the players who may not be expected to make the big league team this year, but could contribute. For Aquino Aristides, of course, showed some amazing power last season. We might see him. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But he's looking like he may not make the opening day roster. Tyler Stevenson, a big-time catching prospect, and we could see him sooner rather than later. The Reds, they don't have a really great-looking catcher right now. I mean, obviously, Tucker Barnhart's okay, Kurt Casale, Kyle Farmer. They're all fine, but yeah, Tyler Stevenson's kind of the future of the Reds as far as catching goes. And, some good-looking pitchers here, that could help out. So I'm not going to go through all these names, but Reds, Look out for the Reds. I got them winning the division, and I'll have my predictions really soon. That video is coming out. I just heard that Buster Posey's opting out of the year, so I got to make a video on that, and that video might have to go up first. But guys, Reds fans, I really appreciate your support on the channel. Please hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video talking Reds. We're going to be doing a lot of Reds talk this season, but I got to hit the road because it's time to talk about Buster Posey, who is opting out. Mother effer. F. See ya!
When the Giants come to town.